Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. The last standard balance patch didn't include many changes, it actually included only one single nerf, a nerf to Death Blossom Whomper, so a fairly sizable nerf to Thaddius Druid. And indeed, that has resulted in Thaddius Druid plummeting in win rate. Thaddius Druid is basically out of the metagame. I mean, sometimes you can still get a pretty good thing going on with that Whomper and your location and you get your Thaddius, but now that it's slower, it's even less reliable, then it just typically is not enough. So how has this affected the metagame? Right now, much of the focus is already on Titans, on the upcoming expansion. People are expecting that and talking about that, and not so much experimentation is going on with standard format. In this video, I have 13 best decks in the format, and out of these 13 best decks, 12 are the same archetypes that were there a week and a half ago. There's one new archetype replacing Thaddius Druid, and, well, there's not a lot of innovation, I have to say. So the decks are mostly the same. There's a little bit of differences in rank because the Druid matchup basically is eliminated, so decks that were strong against Druid are now a little bit weaker. Decks that were weak against Druid are generally now a little bit stronger. So that said, let's take a look at the decks. And coming in at number 13, we have Undead Priest. Undead Priest was also pretty decent against Druid, and now it lost that good matchup, so it doesn't really have that many great prospects. It's barely climbable. I've been trying to play some budget versions of Undead Priest Relic as well, and they are just barely playable as well, even though the deck itself is not super expensive even in its full form. Still the Swarm build, still an aggressive deck. It's kind of fine, but it doesn't do anything fancy, it doesn't do anything special. Coming in at number 12, we have Frost Death Knight. Frost Death Knight has been going through a couple of different builds, nothing too major really. Hardcore Cultist still seems like it is the card of choice. Some people are using Rowdy Fan instead, but Cultist just seems a little bit better. In this version of the list, there's Astral Bloodstone again. So last time I showcased the version with the Harbinger of Frost, but now Astral Bloodstone and Posig are back, and this seems to be doing a little bit better in the current metagame. At number 11, we have Menagerie Warrior, exact same list that I showcased a week and a half ago. Menagerie Warrior seems to have stabilized on this specific list with the backstage bouncers, with Magatha Bane of Music. The deck definitely got something out of the mini set, but Enrage Warrior just got so much more out of that Enrage Warrior is the superior archetype. Enrage Warrior has a lot more ways also to come back when it's really far behind, whereas Menagerie Warrior, you really have to fight very aggressively, competently for the board, and if you lose that fight, it can be difficult to return to the game. At number 10, we have the newcomer to the list, and the newcomer is Secret Rogue. Yeah, Secret Rogue, with one win condition being Prison of Yogg-Saron, is an actual deck. Prison of Yogg-Saron casts random spells. You choose a character, it casts 4 random spells targeting that character if at all possible, providing the Secret Rogue with some removal, providing the Secret Rogue with potentially more resources, providing the Secret Rogue maybe even with lethal by targeting the enemy hero. It's just something that Rogue has been working on, and Rogue now finally somewhat playable again. At number 9, we have Evolve Shaman. Evolve Shaman lost the Thaddius Druid matchup. That was a good matchup for Evolve Shaman, and Evolve Shaman consequently has lost a few ranks. The metagame also has changed in ways that Evolve Shaman has not enjoyed that. Other than that, Evolve Shaman list is the exact same list as before, making heavy use of the miniset cards with remixed Totem Carvers, Backstage Bouncers, Horns of the Windlord, and in general being a deck that can still just scam games with high evolve rolls. And the 8th best deck in the game is Burn Mage. I showcased this exact list already a week and a half ago. Back then this was a fairly new list, I didn't have a lot of stats about this, but now we have a lot more statistics, I'm much more confident about its performance level, and yeah, it has burn elements, it has some of these spooky elements with Cold Case, with Deathborn, and it also has a bit of a secret package going on with Custom Singer, then Objection Counterspell, just trying to make the opponent's life miserable while blasting their face. And the 7th best deck in the game right now is Relic Demon Hunter. Relic Demon Hunter has had some changes in it. Posig has been cut from some of the lists. There are a couple of alternatives, like there's basically 3 cards. There's Blademaster Okani, Prosecutor Meltranix, and Posig. And there are lists that are running 2 out of these 3 cards in pretty much all combinations. Blademaster Okani is generally the strongest of the 3, and then it's a closer fight between Posig and Prosecutor Meltranix. But right now it looks like the list that runs both Okani and Meltranix for maximum disruption is the best performing one. There is one significant change in Totem Shaman, and that is that the best Totem Shaman lists have started to run Bloodlust again. So now we're having Totem Shaman with 2 copies of Bloodlust, so that it can just take control of the board and then boom, end the game. Outcast Demon Hunter continues its solid performance, still no changes to the deck. The list has been like this for quite some time now, but it's just a strong deck. Now that the meta is a little bit more board-based again, that means that Unholy Death Knight enjoys these board-based battles, and Unholy Death Knight has brought back Blightfang. So now when your opponent has a board, and then when they no longer have a board, then you will have a board out of those minions and the death rolls that you give them, so Unholy Death Knight having a good time in the meta. Your Paladin enjoys being one of the best decks in 2 formats, both in Standard and in Twist. So if you like to play this deck in Standard, you can do that. If you feel like, hey, I want to play some Twist, well, not many people do, but if you happen to want to play Twist, then you can also just take this pure Paladin deck, go into Twist, and have great success there as well. The biggest improvement of the week is for Enrage Warrior. Enrage Warrior as such, the deck has not changed by a single card, the deck is still completely fine like it is, but Enrage Warrior has one major asset, and that asset is that it has a good matchup against Hound Hunter. Because Hound Hunter is very, very strong, it's also very, very popular. Enrage Warrior being able to fight against Hound Hunter effectively means that Enrage Warrior is in a great position in the current meta. But overall the best deck remains Hound Hunter. You want to play this Prince Renatal version with a bit of secret package in and then some really big stuff coming up. Now that Thaddius Druid is practically eliminated from the meta, that means that Hound Hunter lost one of its weak matchups. It only has one major weakness left, and that weakness is Enrage Warrior. Sure, there's a bunch of decks that can go around 50-50 against Hound Hunter, so yeah, there are other decks that you can play, but if you really want to beat Hound Hunters, now your only real option is Enrage Warrior, and other than that, well, you can always join them, I guess, and just play the best deck in the game. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.